So I'm here with Miss Nishioka from Downey High School. She teaches 9th through 12th, right? Different age range of the ELL learners?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So I'm going to ask you a couple questions. So question number one, who benefits more from online learning, students or teachers?
I mean, we can both benefit from it. It's just how the tool is used and for what type of person. Some people prefer the actual book. Like when I read, I don't like reading on a Kindle or on my phone or on my iPad. I prefer the actual book. But in the right situation, it can be used, especially if you have absences. You can post stuff
Right.
online on the web and they can get the information. When you are teaching them to read critically and to annotate, though, that's not, advantageous because they're unable to
Right.
write directly on a page. But it just depends on the situation, depends on the student. But it can be very helpful in making assignments and material accessible to them at any given place.
Good. Do you think schools benefit by cutting back by using technology and wise like resources like paper or utensils or something like that? Do you think online is better cutting back like resources like that?
Again, there's a give and take. Yes, you're cutting down on paper and copying needs. So that's good for the environment. That can be good budget-wise in one respect, but I don't know what you're cutting down on, say, toner cartridges or on the copy machine, but then you're then having to provide
Computers,
laptops or whatever, and I don't know what the pricing is on that.
Right.
But
in the long run, it could be beneficial.
it could be.
Yeah.
It could be.
Okay. What is the reason schools oppose technology in a classroom? What could be a reason?
So just like any tool, it can be used for good and it could be used for evil. So we were given a cart of iPads for each department, and we in the English department really don't use the iPads. I've tried using the iPads before, and we've had a lot of issues with people abusing the use of it. So they were, taking stupid pictures and airdropping it to another iPad, and it doesn't show, who it's from.
Right.
And so people were being distracted by that, taking pictures.
So you think it's a big distraction?
It can be. So if you have a mature group of people, then it's great.
Right.
But if you don't have that maturity, then they're on their Facebook or their Instagram or their Snapchat. And so again, with a different class, I had a group. One girl was done with her work, so she went on her, I don't know, whatever, social media, and then left the program open for the next person to get on. They saw that, and they sent messages to someone else
From her account
that were really bad. So after, figuring out who it was, that person got suspended. But that's where you open up some really, a can of worms with that.
Right. So, so what happens in the classroom that does not need or use technology? Do you think it's more like an old-fashioned traditional way where it's just books and you learn by paper, pencil, book, or?
There's something to be said for old-fashioned traditional, just having a book, because, with anything, you can have the higher-end version of it, but there's something to be said for just the basic version of anything. One teacher talks about the technology and all the, doodads that we have in the A building as just lipstick on a pig.
Right.
It makes things flashier, but
look more expensive and compelling.
That's all. It is sometimes. It's just flashiness, especially when the technology cuts out. Then what works? The old school book or the old school notes. So there's something to be said for just that basic
traditional. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. How suitable is online learning to the skills and interests to the individual learner?
What was the benefit?
How suitable is online learning to the skills and interests to the individual learner?
Again, it depends on the student and their responsibility level. So if you have someone who is willing to take the time, and say if you were to post your lectures and they were to go back into it and view it again, fill in the gaps of what they missed, then it's amazing. But
Right.
say if there's the concept of the flipped classroom right now, where
Right.
you put that stuff kind of online and then they come in the classroom and then apply it. But you're assuming that the student's going to go home and do that.
Right.
Whereas, a big problem that we deal with is just whatever assignments we give, getting those homework assignments done and turned in. So if you're assuming that they're going to do all of that learning, or even a little bit of that learning at home, and then coming in having the knowledge, and they
It's really
don't,
tricky.
then there goes your whole lesson plan.
Right.
So
You're gonna have to rely on students doing what they're gonna do, and then you having to teach them
when
they come back, and they probably obviously some don't.
so that's a scary idea. The flipped classroom is.
So they're talking about that here.
Well, that's a buzz
Little
thing.
flutters.
Yeah, so you can take online classes on how to execute the flipped classroom,
Right.
but you can take classes all you want on how to set it up. If the students aren't receptive to it, the students aren't receptive to it. So
Right.
I contemplated that. I'm a little reluctant to. I might try a couple things, but I'm reluctant to.
Right. Okay. Since you're a mother, do you think that the early exposure to technology contributes to the development of ADD and ADHD, and for example, like an elementary classroom?
Because I think that ADD and ADHD is, if anything, a chemical imbalance. I don't think that it would lead to it, but someone who does have ADD or ADHD,
Then
that would how their learning would be affected because of the tools they're given.
Right.
It wouldn't be the cause of the
Right.
the ADHD, but it would
Be a major contributor.
Yes.
Okay. Last question. Would you encourage technology in a classroom? Why or why not?
I'm going to say that I do encourage technology. With all of that we have in here, I've tried to embrace it and go with it.
Because it is well developed.
It is here. It is the wave of the future, and as technologically inclined as we think our students are, they are not. They're very comfortable with their phones.
Right.
But anything aside from an app.
Right.
On their phone or something, they are actually quite deficient. So if you have them type on a computer, they don't know how to capitalize a letter.
Really?
They don't know how to center a title. They'll hit tab, 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 or space, 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 space. If they need to capitalize something, they'll hit caps lock, and then hit caps lock again. They don't know that it's shift.
Is it because they're ELL learners, or do you think it's just
no,
in a regular
those are
classroom?
seniors.
Really? Wow.
So they don't know basic formatting, and they may take. I thought a basic typing class here, computer processing class, whatever. But whatever it is not sinking in. So I think we need to expose them to that. I think we as teachers, we always say that teachers need to adjust to the student.
Right.
As well as the student need to adjusting to the teacher. So, a lot of teachers are like, well, this is how it is in the real world. However it is, that people have to adjust, so they're going to have to adjust to my classroom. But if you believe that, then there's going to be a problem. So we have to be willing, at least on some level, to bring that in, because this is the age that they are born into.
They're developing,
There's technology everywhere. I think they came out of the womb with the phone in hand.
True.
So it may not be our reality, depending on how old you are.
Right.
It's not part of my reality.
Or how we grew up.
But it is a part of theirs, and
So
on
we
some
kinda
level,
have to
we need to
go into that.
use that to our advantage,
Right.
And then just go from there.
Right. Thank you very much for your time.